You know, I didn't really ever think I'd be registering a deck with Thunderous Wrath again, but here we are. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, for the Rare Pauper video, and today we are going to be playing Miracles in Pauper, believe it or not. Although it's maybe going to look very different from the Miracles decks that you are used to if when you hear Miracles, you think blue-white control. We're doing Thunderous Wrath today. Now, today's deck list comes to us from All Trades Media LLC, who is also sponsoring this video. If you want to upgrade their tokens, check out their original print tokens on Etsy. You can see them on screen here. They are designed in the style of Magic's original playtest cards and have this sort of really cool retro minimalism appeal to them. There are color ones as well as black and white ones, and a lot of them have really cool silver foiling. If you want a bunch of tokens, they do have a Build a Pack available, which lets you pick and choose up to 20 tokens at about $1 each. They do custom orders as well, so reach out if you're interested in getting something designed. All of their links can be found in the video description in their link tree, and promo code ThrabenU will save you 25% on orders of $20 or more. So, we are blue-red miracles today, building around Thunderous Wrath, which deals 5 damage to any target for a miracle cost of just a single red, which is way above rate. Now, we have these traditional cantrips that we can use to set up these miracles, but the really cute and interesting thing that this deck does is Bloodwater Entity. Flying prowess, and when it enters, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Oh yeah. So you Thunderous Wrath someone, you Bloodwater Entity, you Thunderous Wrath them a second time, that's 10 of their life, and this at that point is at least a 3/3 flyer because of the prowess trigger. That'll get people dead pretty quickly. We have some early aggressive elements like Delver of Secrets, as well as just a big chunky 5/5 Serpent with Ward 2 as something that we can do in the mid game. And that can come out relatively quickly if you just churn through your mana in the first couple of turns. Our sideboards are relatively targeted at some of the things that you would expect in Pauper, a basic sweeper, some form of artifact hate, some additional form of additional removal or counter spells, all that sort of stuff. So let's hop into a match here. And folks, if you need some cards for Pauper, you can probably order an entire Pauper deck at the cost of a lot of the more expensive Legacy cards. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order with TOAMagic.com. They tend to have 95% of all the standard legal stuff in stock at any given time, so if you need some of the new cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm, they'll probably have them. Alright, let's battle. So this is one of the downside of like having cantrips that are meant to help you hit your land drops, is sometimes you don't have the first land drop to get things going. Also, double Thunderous Wrath in hand without a way to like brainstorm them back is also a little bit sketch. The universe has a sick fucking sense of humor as we hit double Thunderous Wrath again with no way to put them back. I believe that it is worth going to 5 rather than keeping a 4-card hand that looks like this or maybe like that. I'm cursed. This is a 5-card hand with no lands. We are on 4 in Pauper. Okay. I'm keeping... I don't get to do my Delver on turn 1. How do I win this game? The Spell Pierce is weird because luck sacking into Delver flip, protect it with Spell Pierce, try to go all the way with Delver is, I guess, a thing that we can do. I think I'm going to keep the Ponder. But this is a really, really rough start. I do not regret my mulligan decisions. However, come the end of the league, if this keeps happening, we're going to think about the land count in this deck. I get duressed, which means I lose the Ponder. It becomes very hard to set up this Delver. Ooh, I lost the Spell Pierce. Maybe my opponent's on combo. Well, turn plays itself. I have not played any Pauper in a hot minute. Like, it has probably been months. Wellspring. Okay, so we're gonna do the traditional, like, 2 mana, black, sack a permanent, draw a card sort of things. Reveal Thunderous Wrath! All right, we're back in it. Target your face. Thunderous Wrath you. You are at 15. Attack. You are at 12. I am also a turn behind. I played this Delver on turn 2. Another Thunderous Wrath, baby. Tolarian Terror. You cost 1 less for each instant and sorcery in graveyard. There will be 3 instants and sorceries in graveyard. This is not bad. Let's leave that there. Put Bolt on top, draw Portent. And next turn, I Portent and Lightning Bolt. And then I can Tolarian Terror the following turn. Okay, we're cooking something here. This is what it means to be alive. You top deck Thunderous Wrath. What is this? There's a library for a Swamp, Mountain, or Forest card. Okay, got it. You know, it's really cool to not have to think about Orcish Bowmasters every single time that I have a cantrip. I will not lie to you. Let's look at my opponent's cards and deny them a removal spell. They're probably about to draw 2 cards with this, which makes that less good. Let's look at my own stuff here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This costs 2 mana. These cards are fine. So let's go bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. Pass turn. There's some sort of Deadly Dispute type card. Eviscerator's Insight. Yeah, same deal. So now I get my bonus Portent card. Okay, we've got combo. So I might need to answer that thing, or I just end up dying. Yeah, that's sadistic glee with it. We will bolt the creature. Take the 2 for 1. Delver by itself still kills very quickly here. I still will be playing Tolarian Terror. Opponent's at 6. I will ponder. I could have 2 of these cards. I would love Counterspell, but I can't have 2 of these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe I just draw Counterspell for next turn, and that's good enough for the future, rather than trying to shuffle and hit something like Lightning Bolt specifically. I will buy that. Then the 1 mana Tolarian Terror. If my opponent can combo off this turn, great. Otherwise, they need to answer one of my creatures or they die. And both creatures are lethal over the course of 2 turns. A Shambling Ghast, a more other Shambling Ghast, and my opponent is passing the turn. Is this good for my opponent? It potentially gives them a treasure token. This does not fly. In case the Delver gets answered, I am going to go ahead and just attack. Opponent is going to go for the double block, which can kill my Delver. Guess that's a reason not to do that. And that is what's happening. Yeah, I thought about that after I attacked. Vault of Whispers. Deadly Dispute is fine. I just currently have my opponent dead on board. I think I am fine with them using more of their mana. Malevolent Rumble makes an Eldrazi token, which could technically block that. That's a little annoying. And my opponent is now pretty low on mana. I'll bite on that. I don't know this deck well enough to know how much actual removal they have, but with Ward 2, I think it's more likely that my opponent plays a blocker that gets in the way of this for a turn than that they can actually kill it from here. There is a Brood Scale, so my opponent can chump block with that to make it through the turn. And then chump block. I think I'm going to hold this for in case this game drags on. Alright, we do put the win on the board, but I'm not convinced that I played that game correctly. Like maybe just attacking with Delver twice and not giving my opponent the chance to remove the Delver is better. Do I want Fiery Cannonades to clear my opponent's blockers out of the way? I don't know enough of what the rest of this deck looks like to board properly, I don't think. Cannonade is not very efficient. I'm just going to resubmit the game 1 deck and see how it feels, and I'm eyeballing this card. Wait a second, I just won that game on 4 cards, right? Fuck yeah. I have... damn it. I have a reasonable mix of lands and spells here. I think I am just going to get my ETB tapped land out of the way immediately and not have Spell Pierce up immediately. I think Spell Pierce is just totally fine in the mid... oh, that sweet Gutter Snipe art. Way to go, MTG Foundations. where Spell Pierce can potentially become a small amount of damage as well and counter a draw too. Let's get this ETB tapped land out of the way. I'll have a Spell Pierce available. It can counter some things. It misses creatures if my opponent plays a creature out here. You get a plant. I think I do want to keep hitting land drops here. I think I'm just going to pick up one of these. Another ETB tapped land. I'll just take an island. Okay, I mean, Brainstorm Thunderous Wrath is a thing. I think I'm just going to hold up mana and pass the turn. I don't feel super safe tapping out for Gutter Snipe here. Malevolent Rumble. I think this is a fine trade with Spell Pierce. We will do an end of turn Brainstorm to set up Thunderous Wrath. I will put a land 2 down and then put Thunderous Wrath on top. Oh my gosh, Thunderous Wrath. 1 mana, 5 damage at face. Now let's cast a Ponder, I think with the intention of shuffling Delver, though? Delver that flips to Bolt? Delver that flips to Bolt is okay. My opponent doesn't know that I don't have anything, right? Malevolent Rumble is fine this time. Opponent can pick up a land or a Wellspring. Going for the land. Now, I don't have a counterspell for this, but I'm going to sit here for a second and think about this one, and then let it resolve. Don't want them... Tameo's Safekeeping. Hexproof and Indestructible. But my opponent just gets a land out of that, obviously. Okay, but Tameo's Safekeeping is a good thing for me to know about. I would really like to play this Gutter Snipe and have this Gutter Snipe start dealing damage. It would add up so incredibly quickly. But I don't really feel safe doing so. That is a Snuff Out. That cost my opponent 4 life. I'm going to counterspell that. I think I keep the most pressure on my opponent if I keep Delver in play. Sometimes this Lightning Bolt gets to go to face and doesn't have to be creature removal. 8. Going to Portent myself. I don't like all 3 of those. I'm going to shuffle. I will take another random card. It is a land. So next turn I can play Gutter Snipe. My opponent could potentially combo off with protection this turn though, I think. That is a Brute Scale. That is the Sadistic Glee. So I will attempt to bolt in response. Do you have protection? You do have Tameo's Safekeeping. Unfortunate. There's a second Sadistic Glee as well. Yikes. So my opponent sacrifices an Eldrazi, puts a counter on Basking Brood Scale, and a counter on the plant token. So now they can repeat this loop where they continue to grow their creatures, and then this infinite-sized plant is going to get to attack in and kill me. GG's. So tapping out for Gutter Snipe was scary. Does that mean bringing in a 3-mana answer is not good? Or do I just physically need more answers to my opponent's stuff? The Delver gets my opponent dead real quick combined with Thunderous Wrath. Tolarian Terror is maybe less good than normal because my opponent has a bunch of things like Malevolent Rumble that just make blockers. Paying 3 mana for this is so rough. And it is going to eat some of my creatures. I could maybe go down on some creatures for Cannonades. I don't feel great about it. This has a Delver. I've identified that I think Delver is very good. I'm going to keep this. We'll figure everything else out later. This is essentially a pretty good 6-card hand, unless I find a Brainstorm, in which case Thunderous Wrath slaps. My opponent is on 5 cards. I'm going to play the Delver on turn 1. If we blind flip it, cool. Otherwise, we can try to set it up next turn. The rest is fine. I imagine I am probably losing Ponder. Oh, I lost Thunderous Wrath. That is another Delver. Not bad. So I give a Love Tap for 1. I get a second Delver going. I play an ETB tapped land. Hopefully I just flip both Delvers naturally next turn and start going fucking wild. A Wellspring is not affecting Delver of Secrets. I am good with that. So, Delver trigger number 1 is Brainstorm. Yes, absolutely. Do I want to draw Brainstorm or do I want to shuffle that away? I will draw it. So we will go to Punchies. I will Punchies in for 6. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm immediately. Broodwing Entity putting Thunderous Wrath back on top is definitely a thing. I think I am not looking for more threats, though. I think I can assume that these Delvers are somewhat likely to go all of the way. I would like to just find interaction. Counterspell is interaction. So let's go bam, 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 no shuffle. I will take that redraw. We'll hide the counterspell on top in case my opponent has a duress effect. It is a deadly dispute. We're not quite on a 2-turn clock here with the Delvers. That 13th point of life is a really big deal here. That's why I hid the counterspell on top. Punchies for 6. Opponent is at 7. I'm going to Portent myself. I don't like those cards. Make land drop and pass. Thunderous Wrath. You gotta call it to see if it happens, right? It's the rules. Opponent is on 5 mana. I'm gonna let that resolve. I have 1 piece of interaction currently. I would like it to be on a card that I think is important. Sometimes I get to just gutter snipe and then kill my opponent with a trigger. Actually, that happens most times, right? Unless I draw like another creature. If I attack for 6, I gutter snipe. If I draw a land, I counterspell their next card. If I don't draw a land, it's probably a 1 mana spell. It is unfortunately a creature, though. Attack puts my opponent to 1. Sort of an unfortunate gutter snipe miss. I get a 1 mana Tolarian Terror. And we see if 1 piece of interaction is enough to get me through the next turn. They have to literally kill me, or I have 2 flyers in the air. Malevolent Rumble is fine. Those are probably not what my opponent is looking for. They did go with the Wellspring. You can absolutely play the Wellspring. I'm not going to stop cards that look like that. Garden is fine. Oh, so opponent's just probably dead. I like that part. And Spell Pierce as the draw. That's fantastic. Send them. Yeah, my opponent just straight up died with 7 cards in hand. I do not know the format well enough to know what happened over there, but it seems like they hit a lot of air. Deck feels pretty good for my side of the table. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I could say all sorts of great things about them, but I'm just going to point to this number. I have 488 deck lists stored on this site. That should give you a feel for how I feel about this website. And if you were to go to my profile, you could see all the deck lists that I'm messing around with, including my EDH decks, and you can even see some of the deck lists I record with before they hit the channel. Ooh. Alright. We sure do be Delvering, though. Mountain and an Epicure. I lose 1. That land is not actually a bad draw. That means that if I want to, I can have Counterspell available on turn 2. Experimental Synthesizer for a mountain. Good value for my opponent. I am not going to accept this trade for my Delver. Unless things get real weird, my Delver should absolutely outpace an Epicure. And I'm going to set a stop here. No Covered Island. I will not reveal that card. I do not want yet another land. I think I'm going to not have Counterspell available to not draw that card. I will just pick up an untapped land. Blah. Send in for 1. What is the land count of my deck? Just out of curiosity. It is 16. That is not very many. New Synthesizer. Revealing another mountain. Opponent's good at hitting those. Blood Token doing its thing. Opponent said no to a Lightning Bolt. There's Kuldotha Rebirth. There be goblins. I have no defensive way to stop these goblins as of right now. I can't get something like a Tolarian Terror into play immediately. Can I be the beatdown? Opponent is at 16. Am I the beatdown? I did not think that I was the beatdown. Okay, I'm the beatdown. Weird. So I play Snow-Covered Island. I attack for 3 in the air. My opponent's at 16. I have Counterspell available for if my opponent does something offensively minded. Otherwise, I have a Bolt coming. All right, that is just sacking a Synthesizer for a 2/2. Goblin Tomb Raider. As long as you control an artifact, has +1/+0 in haste. Okay, got it. I'm going to take 4. I'm at 10. Am I countering something that is just 2 power? So my opponent currently has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power. That kills me in 2 turns. If I kill my opponent in 2 turns, I have 6 damage from Delvers, plus 5, 11, 14. We're pretty close. I think I'm going to cast Counterspell to make it more likely that I can just Tolarian Terror. So I reveal Thunderous Wrath. I send Thunderous Wrath at face. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 7. So send in with Delver. My opponent's at 8. There's a lot of times where I think I die this turn. Yeah, that's not great. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, fuck, 2 Goblin Bushwhackers? Well, shit. Like, I blocked the one that's hitting me for 4. But that overkills me by 7. This is where I want the fiery cannonades. And Hydroblast seems great. I just want to be efficient here whenever possible. My own creatures die to my fiery cannonades, which is sort of a problem. Conceptually, I do not like how this matchup is probably going to feel. Am I trying to not Thunderous Wrath and just be more consistent without it? Or do I need those spikes of power? I might need those spikes of power. Like, go down, Gutter Snipe. A lot of my opponent's stuff that I care about is creatures. Bloodwater Rebirth could be hit by Spell Pierce. There's also just going to be Burn, though. Maybe I take out these creatures that just died of Fiery Cannonade. I take Delver, and I plan on winning this game with Tolarian Terror most of the time. That is no starting land. No. Oh, that has no starting land. We are now on 4 versus a deck that is trying to get me dead so quickly, and I have no threat. I mean, on 4 I am keeping, but feels bad. Feels bad. I'm just going to kind of assume that I have lost this game. I'll let the red deck run me over. It should not take long. Artifact land into just 2/2 haste. Goblin Guide, no land downside. It's drunk. Portent. Fiery Cannonade is something that could get me out of this. I would like to draw the land and the Fiery Cannonade. I'll put the Portent down. And you're a fucking pirate? What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Alright. Bolt you. I don't know if my opponent has any weird synergies that punish me for waiting on removing that. There's a lot of Deadly Dispute type cards in this format. This card's seriously sweet, though. Second Great Furnace. Bloodwater Rebirth. And a Chain Lightning. I cannot copy it. So I can do some damage in a minute. I would like to find a threat to follow this up now, in all likelihood. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in graveyard for something like Tolarian Terror. These are like okay Magic cards. I think I need to swing harder than this. I'm going to make my ETB tapped land. Pass, draw. That is not what I am looking for, but I don't regret taking the swing. I have boarded out a decent number of win conditions. Yep. Ouchie. So this is 8 damage. I'm down to 7. I cannonade all of this stuff, maybe some more stuff on top of it. No. That is another land, unfortunately. Everybody's coming in. I am low enough that I have to do this. I can't sandbag it, attempting to get more value. Oh shit, opponent just passed the turn, but I have nothing. I mulligan to like 4. This is where we would love to top deck a Lorien Revealed and just draw 3 cards and hopefully not get Pyroblasted. Epicure is fine in the short term, but 1 point of damage is very real right now. Delver is kind of whatever. I'm not overly excited about that. Galv Blast my face. That was a Galv Blast for just 2, though. There was no Metalcraft there. Relic is really annoying. Don't look, everyone. Don't look at what is about to happen. Don't look at it. Don't look. It feels so bad. But if I don't block there, I am dead to any Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning effect. Ugh. Relic is now slowly going to eat away at my graveyard. That is a Galv Blast for 2, which is going to resolve. Oh shit, no, they played Relic. Well, it's a Relic for 4. It's a Galv Blast for 4, which is going to resolve. It feels like our Miracles deck is a little slow here. I have 2 Delver of Secrets. Keep. We have Brainstorm for Thunderous Wrath. We have Brainstorm to flip both Delvers. I would love to draw a land naturally here. Clockwork Percussionist. When it dies, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until the end of turn. Neat. Is this just the same deck that we just played against, though? In which case, I'm scared. Okay, second land. That is fantastic. So next up on the wish list is red mana. Second land drop from my opponent. That's happening. I can't have Spell Pierce up yet. Okay, yeah, it looks like this is the same thing as last round. Monkey hits me in the face. I make land drop. That will get me red mana. I have Delver, and I can get a little creative with how exactly I do my turn. Please be Spell Pierceable. Whatever it is, please be Spell Pierceable. Fuck! Yes, that's happening. So I am very clearly not the beatdown here. I think I am just going to save 2 life, which is really more than 2 life over time by blocking one of these. I will be at 13. Now I'm going to just go ahead and guarantee my red mana. A lot of times I am into Brainstorm plus Shuffle. These both just enter tapped, right? There is no difference between them. All right, one's a snow land. We'll take the snow land. We got the other one anyway. Let's brainstorm to see if anything changes with this turn. It does. So I can hold up Spell Pierce or just play out a Delver. I'm going to play out the Delver. Let's go bam, bam, tapped land, Delver, pass. Delver flips to Thunderous Wrath. I Thunderous Wrath my opponent's face. I put Thunderous Wrath back on top of my deck. I also have a Lightning Bolt we throw in the mix somewhere. We're gonna... Yeah, that's fine. Now I will just Thunderous Wrath my opponent's face instead. Hopefully not take a billion from a Bushwhacker. All right, we dodged Bushwhacker. Fantastic. 11. I stacked that wrong. Whoops. Kind of a big deal that I stacked that wrong. Tolarian Terror? 1, 2 instants and sorceries in graveyard. I'll put more in there. Man, this was such a big fuck up. We'll figure it out. I'm going to say these cards are good enough to keep. I should maybe just shuffle, but I have Lightning Bolt and Spell Pierce available and really cool Thunderous Wrath things to do. My Spell Pierce may or may not actually be live. I think I'm okay with just, like, doing this, despite how sad this is. At 10. Great Furnace. All right, cool. You cost 3, which means Spell Pierce will still be up. That is fine. So I Terror, I pass the turn, and then I do Thunderous Wrath into Thunderous Wrath, hopefully. How does this card work? Until the end of your next turn. Sure. I can't Spell Pierce that, so that's happening. That's a lot of chump blocks for Tolarian Terror, which probably just means that this card is not going on the offensive right now. So, reveal. Thunderous Wrath, your face. You are at 15. Do I want to put Lorien Revealed on top of my deck instead? That's a real question. I might. Finding actual factual counterspell so that I can counter things like Bushwhacker is kind of a big deal. I think we're settling in for a longer game. First strike, haste, stack it, draw a card to make a treasure token. You've got it. Okay, it is a land. That makes me feel good. Oh, we're just getting in there. So if I block this, my opponent just converts it into a different card. Let's start taking out these then. I am at 7. I'm going to cast Lorien Revealed. This does trigger prowess, but I don't think I'm going on the offensive right now. Nice. I will just go ahead and pass the turn here. Hopefully not die, and then probably be pretty stable. There's another Percussionist. All right, yeah, opponent is just pushing every point of damage where they can. I will block, and I think I do the one that makes them use mana. They're going to go ahead and sack that. I take 2. I'm not in range of 1 burn spell, and Spell Pierce is a card that exists. I believe that I am fine casting a Brainstorm. There are some timelines, I guess, where I do something with this. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I assume this costs 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yes, that costs 1. In which case, I am just putting back land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm putting back land. I do not have a lot of help coming. I'm going to cast a terror. I think I hit for 5 here. I think that's fine with 2 counterspells backing me up here. Synthesizer is more than 1 card worth of value here. I am going to go ahead and counterspell that. And then my opponent can have some decisions about whether or not they attack with these to try to play some cards, or whether or not they want to hold them back to be blockers for Tolarian Terrors. My next card is a blank. I need to win the game, which I think means sending everything. But it's super awkward that this is effectively drawing my opponent more cards, because I've been trying to play around killing these all game. So, mountain, nice. That 2 mountains? No, that is a Goblin Tomb Raider. That is okay. I am not dead to that. However, a burn spell at face from here will do it. Mountain, Tomb Raider, resolves. I take 2. I am at 3. That's not good. My opponent has unfortunately paid. Will I make my own copy? Absolutely. I will pay that mana to do that. Target your face. Oh no, I'm dead before I get my copy. What a disaster. Alright. Cannonade in. Hydroblasts in. I guess I can think about Dispel as well. It just like doesn't answer the creatures. And some of the things like Cold Oath of Rebirth or sorceries too. Hey, I don't like this matchup. I want a new matchup. Just don't have things that are good at sitting there and soaking up all these damage from the tokens. And I'm just so torn about what my role is supposed to be. Like, I don't know if the only way I win this is by getting lucky with Thunderous Wrath, or if I try to gear up for a long game. Doesn't seem like I win the long game. It seems like I just can't keep answering the burn spells once my spell pierces are out of range. I did this last time, and I don't know if that's right. But I can't think of the approach that makes me feel good about this. I'll keep this hand. We have decent controlling elements. If I can save a Lorien Revealed until the late game, cool. I am going to hold up Hydroblast, pretty much any offensive red spell. I need to just save the initial life. Lightning Bolt. I am going to guarantee my land drop here. And I think I'm okay with guaranteeing that I have my second color. Land drop 2. Epicure, 19. That's a Cold Oath of Rebirth, unfortunately. So now I would like to dig for a sweeper. So I ponder. None of those are a sweeper. I will shuffle. This is not what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to guarantee the next land drop. Get an untapped land. Cast a Portent. Target myself. None of those are Fiery Cannonade. Any order, shuffle, yes, pass. Now I'm digging for the answer to the onboard stuff, and have just not kept myself in a situation where I can cast Counterspell. I think Counterspell is incredibly important because Bushwhacker represents so much damage just by itself. We have the wrong cards. We have the wrong half of the deck here. These will probably just kill me. I'm going to continue to look for the sweeper. Alright, I did find it. I will draw it. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 2 mana? 1 mana? Okay. Yeah. No shuffle. 1 mana. Don't you do it. Yeah. I have a sweeper next turn, so I don't play a Delver. But I just take 4 more points of damage. This is 11. And opponent is just chilling. Is not great for me. So I'll pass the turn. When they go to combat, I'll cannonade. But that means that I did not extract any more value from this card. And tapping out for this means that I don't have this counterspell up. So now my opponent has a window to play a new threat. Kind of horrifying if they don't take that window. Alright, it is a new Cold Oath of Rebirth. and a lackey. I'm just once again kind of in the position where I need another sweeper or I'm going to die. Like, I can bolt this, but like otherwise I'm looking at trading 2 delvers. Not great. I guess I am just bolting a dude. I guess I am hitting another land drop. And I guess I am playing 2 delvers. My cards just feel so bad. Like, am I going to flip my delvers and then hold them back against goblin tokens? I think so. I'm at 8. All right, delver. No covered island. God damn it. No. I am so dead. I'm going to just attack. I'm just not winning if my opponent's last few cards are just lightning bolts. I'm going to let that one resolve. I'll counterspell the next one. I don't really want to counter that. Don't know that I have a choice. That just represents another card in a minute. If these delvers do flip and I can try to use them defensively. Tolarian Revealed, yes. So, I will cast Tolarian Revealed. I have a Spell Pierce. I have delvers that cannot attack and need to be held back defensively. So the hope is my opponent casts a spell that I can Spell Pierce, and then I untap and have Counterspell available. And I certainly do not have control of the game, but it's at least something. Alright, they are going for that one singular point of damage, which means I could die to something like a Voldaren Epicure trigger. 1. That does not get Spell Pierced. Ugh, I don't want to get paired into this again. Alright, I've got some lands. I've got some spells. Let's play some magic. Fuck! God damn it! I have already figured out that I can't beat this fucking deck. Why? Why? Alright, let's get the ETB tapped land out of the way. My opponent will do crimes to me before I can have counterspell available. Alright, this is the cast a spell 1 damage one? Yep, okay. That one I can at least lightning bolt. I will do so immediately. And let's try to smooth things out. None of those are interaction. I'll shuffle and take something new. Another land. There's an Epicure. That's fine. Yeah, now there's just so many bodies. I don't understand what I am realistically supposed to do. I'm so bad against stuff going wide. Like, I certainly can't tap out for Gutter Snipe. I'm going to Brainstorm. This will be 3 in graveyard. I can do a Tolarian Terror maybe next turn. I'm going to put back some lands. I'm going to hold up Counterspell. Hope to counterspell something good like a Bushwhacker. Seems like my opponent is just going to not land drop. Like, I don't want to counter that. I'm going to try to roll higher than that. Nope. I'm going to cast a Brainstorm for the purpose of just trying to get this into play. A Ponder 2 down. Ponder, land. Yeah. How much do you cost? You cost 3. It feels like every decision that I do leads to my death. I'm going to play 2 creatures. If my opponent has something good like a Bushwhacker, here's their opportunity to play it. I'm going to play as if they have 2 lands in hand and are going to draw a 3rd. Fuck this matchup. I'm out. I just don't think I can win this. Cannonades in, Hydroblast in. We're going to try something different. Thunderous Wrath's out, and a Gutter Snipe out. We try to recur Fiery Cannonade multiple times with Bloodwater Entity. I suppose that doesn't die to Cannonade due to Prowess trigger. This is a handful of reasonable Magic the Gathering cards that I just feels like fucking dies. No. Okay. I am going to pick up a land. I should technically wait to do that, but whatever. Alright, Epicure. 19. I will hold up Counterspell. I will counter that. Mostly just to use my mana. My mana is just so incredibly tight in this matchup. Tomb Raider is great. I am pondering. I will cast more spells, that's fine. So I will Portent myself. There is a Cannonade, but this fucker's a pirate. I don't care, I think I'm still taking this. I bury the counterspell with the intention of maybe shuffling that away. Tributary. Let's see if I just get deaded by Coldotha Rebirth into Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker. Not dead to it, but boy, it sucks. Land drop and pass. My fiery cannonade might only be saving me 2 points of damage here. Ugh. Bam. Why are you a pirate? Like, very specifically in the context of Pauper. That's busted. Reckless Impulse. So, I am at 4 life. Does not feel good. There's the bolt. How much do you cost? Please be 2? 2! Alright, I play Tolarian Terror. I have Counterspell available. I still think I am going to lose, and it is not going to be close. I mean, this is the bait spell. I just don't think I have any choice but to accept the bait. There is a bolt. There is a Gallop Blast. I am dead. GG. If we get paired against the mono red deck next round, I am conceding the league. This opening hand doesn't do anything, unfortunately. This second one is better, but 3 ETP tapped lands while trying to play Counterspell is rough. I think I'm going to keep all of them because this deck is... Maybe I get rid of Counterspell. Hope my opponent is interacting, or is playing creatures that I can interact with via Lightning Bolt. Alright, it is a different matchup. Birchlore Rangers. Cool. We are not going to let that get out of line. Second land, Priest. Yikes. Immediate Bolt is fine by me. Going to do this and pass the turn. I am probably going to end up brainstorming on my opponent's end step and then shuffling in my upkeep. Target creature gets +X/+X. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Now, unfortunately, I've used 2 of my lightning bolts already. I'm going to put back land, and then shuffle with Lorien revealed. This 4 in graveyard. I'm going to take an untapped one. I'm going to counterspell whatever my opponent does this turn. Okay, maybe not that one. You can have that one. Okay. We're chilling. This costs 3. There are some... I think it's like you meet in a tavern and lead the stampede style cards that could give my opponent card advantage. Those are probably the things that I want to get rid of. Fuck this card. This card's very good. I am trying to deal 20 points of damage with things like Thunderous Wrath helping me do that. How big are these? So you can give an elf +3/+3. Means that my attacks actually aren't all that optimal, huh? This is another? No. Okay. Bam. And bam. Go to combat. Send it. Opponent just takes the damage. I will drop a Tolarian Terror. I thought I was potentially going to have to Lightning Bolt something. Would have gotten away with playing another Tolarian Terror. Yep. I send in with both of these. Alright, we are on blocks. Okay. So if I get rid of an elf, like say I Lightning Bolt this one, my opponent gets +3/+3, turning that into a 4 power creature, which means that this Lightning Bolt can go here. Oh shit. Fuck! Alright. That is now a 5/6. No bueno. Was not expecting game 1 Vines of the Vestwood. I guess it makes sense. So now I'm shields down. If my opponent can do something big and broken, this is their chance. I can't really block that anymore. I might be dead. Yeah, that's just 6 damage. And these can't attack into the elf. Shit. Masked Vandal. And that is an elf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could get hit for 13 here. Insane. So with 1 activation, that is 7 damage, and my opponent just kind of plays around red removal and my attacks. I don't think this is getting me anywhere. I'm going to see if I am wrong. Yes, that does not get me anywhere. I'm dead. Thought we were stabilizing there. Was wrong. Maybe I had a window to remove this earlier in the game. Alright, cannonades in. Is this worth it? I'm gonna go Spell Pierces out for cannonades. I am going to hope that this is enough interaction. Or this is enough dig to find relevant interaction. I'm going to get my ETB tapped land out of the way immediately. And start here. No to those cards. So this is shuffling, so I can now ponder, take 3 more looks, A bolt is okay. Do I specifically want to dig for the cannonade? Because if I accept bolt, I'm drawing 2 cards that aren't cannonade. I think I want to specifically dig for cannonade. I've gotten a bolt anyway. I'll take my Portent draw. It is a land. That's not what I want to see. Guardian Ranger. Black mana. Mesmeric Fiend. Well, I don't have my cannonade yet, but you sure can take my ponder if you would like. You're taking my lightning bolt. Got it. I will have 3 in graveyard. None of these cards are good. Shuffle. Deck. Deck, we need to talk. Holy shit. That's rough. Alright, priest is happening. Opponent is holding up mana. That's probably not a good sign for me. Okay. Okay. You know, if we found a cannonade, this would be great to refuel. After that, I'm taking 3. Hopefully my opponent just has stone cold nothing. Alright. Draw 3. No cannonades. Uh-oh. Opponent appears to have flooded out, but... Oh, they're holding back a priest, potentially. I have no idea what the fuck that means. Yeah, they're holding back a priest. They've got something to do with all that mana. Untapping a priest. Sure. Cannonade. Fuck. Brainstorm. None of those cards are cannonade. Alright. Put back land. Cycle this to shuffle. Portent myself. Look for cannonade. None of those cards are cannonade. So I'm going to shuffle. I can look with another Portent if I don't care about casting it immediately, which I will accept. Counter spell? No, I think I'm dying to the onboard stuff. I will pass. I have Lightning Bolt Mesmeric Fiend into Lightning Bolt something else available. Okay. Nice. That's another forest. Let's start getting a feel for what's going on over there. My opponent is holding back these. I do not know what that means. Hollow. Prevent all damage target spell would deal this turn. You gain life equal to the damage prevented this way. Jesus. Do I need to bait this out again? No, I don't have another lightning bolt. It's another gutter snipe. Okay. This is occurring. My opponent doesn't have white mana up, so I guess this can't happen again? That's the good news. So, attempt this. No. No! Another one. Oh, it's a blue one. Negate. Sure. So I'm going to red and 2 play this. I will put the cannonade on top of my library to do next turn. And drop a land. Opponent has 2 cards left. We could go 0 to 60 so quickly here. Wow, we locked out. If my opponent drew... yeah, they are frantically drawing. If my opponent drew any sort of payoff card there, that they could just funnel that priest mana into, things would have gotten very bad for me. So I think we were unlucky in terms of finding the cannonade, but lucky in terms of my opponent's draw. Alright, so there are now these hollow and negate type things. Do I want to spell pierce or dispel to help fight against those and just get rid of something like Thunderous Wrath? I think I do. I'm going to go dispel and 2 spell pierces. What about Mind Collapse? I think the pierces are better. Like, given how heavily I was digging towards my sweeper, I just really need that to resolve when I do find it. If I do find it. This is an okay hand. I think I take 1 mulligan looking for my sweeper naturally. I think that hand is kind of average. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to get rid of the Lorien revealed, I think. We've got an elf. I'm going to play my ETB tapped land so that I can lightning bolt next turn to slow my opponent down. Ooh, buddy. Scary. And another one. Sure. You've got to go. But this sure isn't great. I guess I am going to get Delvers going. My opponent still has a pretty respectable amount of mana, so when we start getting into these draw effects, which we haven't seen in any of the games yet, they are scary. I would very much like to remove that card. Okay. Delver trigger. Molten Tributary, that's the land. That is the land. I do not want to reveal that card. Portent. Target myself. Ooh, nice. Oh, all my lands are ETB tapped. Awkward. So, not playing another Delver. I can't counterspell immediately. So the order here doesn't super matter. So I'm going to do tapped land and pass the turn. I have a Spell Pierce available technically. That's not a super potent card. Yep. All right, those are getting in. Do I want to block with Delver to save 1 point of life? I am about to take a lot more damage than it looks like. So yes, I think I do. And if my Cannonade doesn't resolve, I think I'm just dead. Yep. Takes 7. My opponent has 1 card. Cannonade. While their thing that grows stuff is tapped. This is so disappointing. So disappointing. Yep, I think we're dead. There's another elf. This is +7. Yikes. So I am at 1. Is the top card another Fiery Cannonade? It is not. All right, dead. Well, we know what we're bad against. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This is really cool design. I really do like the design. I think this is neat. Thunderous Wrath with Bloodwater Entity is a really cool synergy. But I felt very bad versus any deck that was putting creatures into play. I don't have anything defensively that I can hide behind until I get to Tolarian Terror mana, which means that I was often taking a beating in the early turns and then getting burnt out. I do not know this format well enough to suggest changes to the deck, but it felt like I was getting absolutely bodied by the red deck. Maybe I can sideboard a tiny bit differently, but that matchup felt very, very bad. Fiery Cannonade missing the Pirate Monkey thing was a big deal as well. I felt very awkward in terms of my mana throughout this league. Like, if I tap out for a 3-drop creature, I don't have Counterspell available. If I hold up Spell Pierce, I can't play out these creatures. Like, there were a lot of situations like that where I felt kind of like I was tripping over myself. I don't have any redundancy for Delver in the early game, so I don't have the ability to get ahead on board and then hold up mana. That just wasn't happening. I need to churn through my various cantrips so that I can get to a Tolarian Terror. And a lot of times I was casting Tolarian Terror for 2 or 3 mana, which means that I'm not holding up Counterspell while I do it. So I think this is a cool idea that is not quite there yet, and I hope you have the ability to tune it a little bit and get it to where you want to be. This deck is very cool, even though we took a beating. All right, folks, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and if you need some cards, you know where to go. See ya!